are you trying to figure out if your kids are going to go to in-person school or virtual school or homeschool on the computer or in-person school plus virtual school at home, or you just have like lost your ever-loving mind and you're like, someone just help me. Oh my gosh. How many of you guys are struggling with the school conundrum of should we do virtual or should we do in person? Should we do homeschool? What should we do? If you are as lost as I am, then you are going to love today's chat because we are going to talk with a special guest all about homeschooling or virtual schooling or in-person school. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? So if you've got questions about homeschool and homeschooling your out-of-the-box kid that's constantly wiggly and constantly fighting with you and doesn't ever listen to you, and you're like, wait, how am I supposed to get them to do their schoolwork? Well, I got good news for you. I got a special guest. And so if you want the notes, I'm going to be doodling them out today. And my special guest is going to be answering your questions about homeschool. So let me invite her in. Let's see. Hello, Erin.
Hello.
Hi. So, oh my goodness gracious, it has been nuts over here trying to figure out if I should do homeschool or if I should go do virtual school for my kids. And then when I go the homeschool route, my head just gets in a big old mess. Are you going to help us with that today?
Absolutely. I love talking about homeschooling.
Oh, good. I need the help. So if you guys are watching this and you need the help too, can you just say, that's me? Like, just let me know. And then if you want the notes, I'm going to be taking some notes and send them over. You can just let us know. We'll send them over into our messenger after this is all over. So Erin, can you do me just a little bit and a little favor, and can you introduce yourself? Tell people like who you are and where you came from.
Absolutely. So my name is Erin, and I have 3 boys that I homeschool. And they are all a little bit out of the box, and they all have their unique and special needs. So we've been homeschooling for about 9 years now, and it's definitely changed along the way. And I have learned so much about homeschooling and the different ways to approach it. And what I've learned, I've loved to share with other people to help them figure out the best way that they can help their kids in their education.
What I love most is, and we talk about this a little bit, and what a lot of people don't know is, maybe 10 years ago. No, it wasn't 10, but about 7 years ago when my son was struggling in school and I decided to homeschool him, and I started looking up for like things to do with him at home that would keep his interest and keep him engaged. I ran across your site, and that was years and years ago. Can you tell us a little bit about your site?
Sure. So I blog at RoyalBaloo.com. That's BALOO, not the color. And I love providing...
Like Jungle Book.
Like Jungle Book, yes, like the bear, because that's what my son reminds me of. He is a 6-foot human version of Baloo the bear.
Aww.
So I love making educational things fun. And I especially like to do that through bringing in themes like Star Wars and Minecraft. So my blog has a lot of those kinds of things. And instead of just doing multiplication, it's multiplication in Minecraft. So those are the things I love to share, using all kinds of themes and activities.
Oh my gosh. And that is what my son loved, is we did a bunch of the Star Wars stuff, and I was able to get him to do math, and I was able to get him to do a spelling. And it wasn't just, there's a lot of stuff out there that's like, oh, I'll do their interest. And when you search it up, it's just like it's got cute things in there instead of it actually being about the topic that you're talking about. And I found that the stuff that you had was just, it got him, kind of excited to actually do things. And it's funny that we're 7 years down the road and here we are having this discussion again. And guys, for those of you that are watching, this is going to be a very raw and vulnerable conversation because I'm in this same place again, trying to decide if we should do homeschool again, or if we should go virtual or do a hybrid. And I immediately thought of Erin because she makes homeschool look really fun. And I also know that Erin has she has a full-time job. And so I knew that she was able to homeschool and full-time job. And I kind of have a back end, like I kind of know about that because you work for Calm the Chaos. But yeah, all those that are getting notes today, she's going to make sure you get those notes for us or from us. But yeah, you make homeschool fun. Like, can you, before we can you just share one thing you do that makes homeschool fun?
I follow my kids' lead. So I did try and take like a worksheet and just put fun things on it. And my kids were like, this is just a worksheet still. And so I quickly learned, like, you can't be like, this is fun and have them accept that. So I look at things they enjoy doing and then think, how can I make this part of what they need to learn? And it's not always as much fun for me, or it's not my version of fun, but that's like, I'm not the one who needs to learn addition. They are.
Yeah. And can you give us an example of what that looks like? Like, what would it look like to, there we go. I'm going to show my doodles while we talk. So can you tell us, like, what is an example of following your lead, or your kid's lead, and making that fun?
One example we did when my kids were young and learning counting is they like to throw balls. So I took a box and it just opened it, and then we would throw the ball in and count it. And so I could do that with my toddler while my oldest was learning addition. So it was like, okay, he threw the ball in twice and I threw it in 3 times. How many times did we throw the ball in? And then they're working on addition.
So instead of, like, you're actually using hands-on things instead of it just being like, oh, yay, we're talking about balls because you like balls.
Right. I have
so it's not just like, right.
I have 3 active kids and they want to move. So like sitting down and doing things is not as effective for them.
Right. So 2 balls, right? So you're doing it kind of like that, or 1 + 2 or whatever. I love that. So before we really dive in, because you've really kind of perfected this craft of following your kids' lead and doing homeschool outside of the box. And the reason I want to talk about this is because a lot of people right now are trying to decide if they want virtual or if they want, so I'm just going to, like, this is the decision that a lot of parents have right now that I'm seeing from so many people. Is, should I do this like virtual sit on Zoom all day and be on a computer, or should I send my kids to a building where they do their school, right, with lots of kids and they have a different school experience? But you're suggesting a different approach, right?
Well, and I'm kind of saying any of those could be a good approach for your child. So you have to look at your kid and you have to look at the options you have. I have seen some virtual programs that look pretty amazing. They have great support. And I've seen a lot of others that is sitting on a computer for 6 hours a day. And we tell you when you can go to the bathroom and what you can wear and where you can sit.
That's what we're looking at. We're looking at an 8:30. Right now we're looking at an 8:30 to 2:30 schedule, and they all have to be on at the exact same time. They all have to sit in front of the Zoom room, and I'm talking about a 2nd grader.
Yeah, that's tough. And I can't imagine many kids that is the perfect fit for them. But there's so many options where you're homeschooling and you're in control. And
did we break up?
You have to be here at this time.
Okay. Can you repeat that last bit? Because I broke up. I don't know if it was you or me.
I was saying there's plenty of online options where you're not irresponsible for the teaching, but you are in control of what they're learning. And it's also not as much of like, be here at this time or like be here all day.
Yeah. Okay. So there may be some options you're going to share with us that include virtual options, but that's not just like do this like, and it's almost like worksheet style, but we're on a Zoom call. Okay. Right. Awesome. All right. So before we get into this, like, let's talk a little bit. I know people are thinking like, well, I don't have time. Like I've got to work and do this, or I don't have a spouse that's going to support me. And you do this kind of on your own. Is that correct?
Yeah, I have for about 1.5 years now.
Yeah.
My husband and I split up and now I'm working and it's just me with all 3 kids here. So we had to definitely pivot and change what our homeschool looks like entirely. I needed them to be more independent and to take on more of their own. And it also meant I had to like relax my expectations, both of them and of me. Because my youngest is 9, and there's only so much he can do independently that is really age appropriate.
You know, I can't spell independent. I need homeschool. Spelling is not my thing. Okay, so you needed them to be independent, and then you needed to relax your expectations. So can you talk to me a little bit about what that means?
Sure. So we've always been pretty relaxed and following their lead, learning what they want to learn. But I kind of had to say, like, okay, they might not learn how to write an essay this year, but my kids are 9, 11, and 14. So all of them have at least 4 years to go. And I don't think it'll take 4 years to learn how to write an essay. So if we learn that next year, that's fine.
Okay. So kind of changing your timeline, like adjusting your timeline instead of thinking that they have to learn something right here. You're saying like kind of like stretch that out and maybe chunk it out a little bit.
Yeah. I have found that when they're motivated to learn something, it takes a fraction of the time. So
I like that. And so what are some suggestions for motivating? Because I know that's one of the biggest concerns people had. And I even see it in the comments here is, I would love to homeschool, but the younger ones just want to play with them, or they get distracted, or I can't keep them on task. And so can you talk a little bit about what you mean by motivation? Because I know that you are applying the Calm the Chaos framework with your kids at home as well. And so I know that some people mistake like motivation for rewards, and I know that that's not what you mean by this. So can you talk a little bit about what you do mean by motivation?
Yeah. So first of all, I want to say kids learn a lot through play. So if your kids want to play, do that, because they can learn almost any concept through play, especially when they're younger. For the older kids, my biggest tip is to think about what they want in their life. My oldest wants to be a chemist, so he doesn't like math. He's never liked math. And then I said, here's the thing. If you want to be a chemist, you're going to need math. And then he went on Google and he was like, I don't believe you. So he checked and he's like, okay, you're right. And now he's willing to do math. He's motivated to get that done and to learn that. So if you can make it relevant to them, they're going to be much more motivated to do that.
That's exactly how I get my son to do math as well. He doesn't like the processes in math, but he wants to be an engineer. Same with my middle son, who wants to do something with animals. And so that's actually what we're working on, is trying to find some things that'll work for him that help him with, being able to learn more about animals and things like that. So that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Also, the way we approach certain things, especially math, we have a tendency to come at it from one point of view. But in the homeschool world, there are multiple different ways to learn math. So it might also be, changing your approach and finding something that makes sense to them. Because I find it's very rare that they don't want to do it because it's boring. It's more that it's hard for them and they don't get it. So if we can just approach it from a different way, they're going to be a lot more willing to give it a go.
I like that. Can you give me an example of like 2 different ways to approach math? Like you just said.
There's a lot of hands-on ones that are becoming really popular. So instead of looking at numbers on a piece of paper, you actually have things you can manipulate. And it just makes more sense. When you look at addition as, putting 2 sets of apples together, it's like, oh, I see what's going on here, instead of just, 2 + 2 = 4. The way we teach math is very abstract, but there are really concrete ways to approach it.
Yes, which is what I would do when I was teaching. And I would do it all the way up to like the older kids, because I think we so quickly try to push away, because in public school, a lot of times we're going to that one test where it's like fill in the little circles. And so when you are at home, you do have the leniency to be able to do some of that other way of teaching them. I love that so much. All right. So what are there any other like tips you would give that maybe I've missed? Like, you've already talked about following your kids' lead, like really making it fun for them. You've talked about if you're short on time or don't have support, but even if you do have time and you do have support, you really want to like try to get your kids to be as independent as possible, relax the expectations, change maybe your timeline or chunk it up, and then really go towards that motivation piece. Is there anything that we might have missed that would be like a number one tip you would want parents to know right now?
Yeah, I see so many early homeschoolers. Their first question is, what curriculum do I buy? And I'm gonna let you know, when my son, my oldest, was in kindergarten, I spent $500 on a curriculum, and we used it for one day, and it didn't work for us because I didn't take the time to watch him and see how he learns and what he likes. So my biggest tip is, don't go out and buy curriculum. Spend some time observing how your child learns, how you best teach, and then ask around and say, like, this is what I'm looking for. And you'll save so much money on curriculum alone that you just won't have to waste.
I love that. There I go with the spelling again. So learning and teaching style, and then go find your curriculum. Yeah. So you want to do that first, and then you can go look for a style. I love that so much. Do you mind if I just double check one place to see if there are any other questions that I may have missed? Because I know that I asked inside of our group, and I want to be respectful of your time, but I know in our Facebook group, a lot of people were asking a couple questions. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So, goodness gracious, let's see what we got here. So, all right. So refusal to do the work with, despite being extremely smart. I think we've already kind of covered that a little bit.
Yeah, a little. I think you need to try and figure out what exactly they're refusing. Is it too hard or is it too easy? I know sometimes when things are too easy, then it's boring. They don't want to do it.
Right. I love that. I love that. Ask why.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So too easy, too hard. And I think that like homeschool gives you that, you have the room to kind of play with that. Whereas at school, it's harder because they're trying to fix, teach to 30 kids or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I see some more of my kids don't go back till September. We've been off since March, but my son just keeps saying, I'm not going back. So what would you suggest?
Is this someone going like back in person, or are we talking virtual? I think
it's going back in person or maybe virtual. So let's just pretend like, like what would you say if your kids are going to have to go back to school? And I know when we homeschooled, that was one of the benefits of homeschools. There wasn't this like fight at the beginning of every year. So I don't know if you see that as well.
Sometimes. I think we figured out how to combat that. So if it's in person, I think the first thing I would wonder is, are they nervous about everything that's happening and everything that's changed and what that's going to look like? I know my kids are really nervous about it, and I didn't see it for a while. So they would like refuse to go somewhere with me. And I finally realized like they're nervous. They don't understand totally what a pandemic is and the risk level involved.
Yeah. So again, you're asking that why. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're finding out.
If it's going back to virtual or homeschool, what we do is we sit down and have a family meeting and discuss what we're going to learn that year. And this year I went really hard on this because I need them to be motivated. So I said, what is the one thing you want to learn this year? And we are centering our entire homeschool around those things. So my youngest wants to learn math. I got math books. I got math history, math biographies, everything math. My middle wants to learn astronomy. So he is learning astronomy this year. And my oldest is just like, I just want to be ready for high school. So I got him a whole curriculum that he can manage himself for the most part. And we'll go through that. And they're all on board for the decisions that they basically made.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That is so cool. That is really, really a great suggestion for anyone who is stuck with trying to get your kids either to go back to an actual school or virtual or to a homeschool. We always would do these big old like white pieces of paper and kind of doodle out or draw out all of our ideas of what we wanted to learn about. My kids were just talking the other day about the time that we learned about factories. And because we were blogging at the time, we actually got invited to Eli's Cheesecake Factory, and we got to go and make cheesecake at Eli's Cheesecake Factory because we were learning about factories. It was really cool. And I think that that's one of the big misconceptions, as people think that it has to all, like you said, your one kid just wants to do math. And I know that the assumption is, well, if you're only doing math, what about the reading, and what about the science, and what about the the writing and all that? But if you've got an interest, even if it's math, they're still reading around math, they're still writing around math. There's, like you said, there's biographies, you're learning about mathematicians, you're figuring out how math works in the real world, you're doing science experiments that include math. Am I hearing the way that's what you're kind of suggesting there?
Yeah, this is the child that taught me that if they want to learn something, they will learn it, and you can't stop them. And on the flip side, if they don't want to learn it, they are not going to learn it. And that was a huge lesson for me in meeting him where he is. He taught himself to read. I tried. He didn't want it from me. And then one day he read like a 4-syllable word, and I was like, okay, I guess we're good here.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one, oh my goodness, this one is one I can relate to. So Golly says, my son gets really upset if he gets anything wrong. And I know that for my middle, that's actually one of my biggest concerns, is he does not like me to teach him. And I know, because I dig under the surface and do all that stuff, I know it's because he loves people. He loves helping people, and he loves making people happy. And I think that he wants me to just be mom. And so what do you suggest? What have you found? Because with 3 boys, active boys on your own, I am sure you've hit that where they don't want to make a mistake. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We actually have kind of a silly answer for that. We celebrate when we fail and when we get things wrong. And when I say we celebrate, I mean, it's like, I failed at something today. Isn't that amazing? And we're trying to kind of rephrase it into a win. Oh my gosh, I learned so much from when I messed up.
That's great. So what did you learn? What does the celebration look like?
It's been a process, because at first, yeah. Oh, it's like dancing and like, I failed and it's so amazing. I've had to make it really silly, because we're reframing this idea in their minds, because I haven't done this the whole time. This is like in the past 6 months.
Okay, I like that. So you're reframing like what it means to make a mistake or to fail. And then you're celebrating it, and you're asking, like, what did you learn? Like, what? Yeah. So do you also do like little debriefs of like, what are you going to do differently? Or is that part of it, or not yet?
Sometimes I kind of bored on this idea that it's wrong. Am I cutting out for you?
You are cutting out for me. You're like roboting it. Oh no. Is she cutting out for the rest of you? Because this is just so freaking good. I want to like continue. Are you there? Nope.
Am I back?
Kind of. You have blurry face.
Uh-oh.
Okay, try now. No. Bum. Okay. It's okay. We can wait it out. Yeah, Sally says you're cutting out. Yeah. It just says that you're just cutting out a little bit. You're frozen. Am I frozen too, or is it just her? You're going to have to let me know if it's me too. It's just you. Jessica says it's just you. She's gone. Oh, there you are. Nope, now you're gone. Your face looks clear. Do you want to like shake your computer and be like, look, dude, I'm on a Facebook Live.
Am I back now? Mine seems better.
At least we're having fun with it.
Did I robot?
Well, I haven't been screenshotting you. That's so fun. We're celebrating the failure. We're going to have a dance party. And we're going to, right? What are we going to learn from this? Oh, I love it. I love it. Are you back yet?
I don't know. Every time I think I'm back, it starts freezing again.
Okay, I can hear you. Maybe you should dance so we can tell if you're actually here or not.
But then you're going to get a screenshot of me like this.
I Perfect. Okay, so for
I think
anyone who's watching on our team meetings, when someone freezes, it's like a thing to grab the screenshot the fastest. So we've definitely caught some great screenshots of Erin, but they've also gotten some great ones of me as well. But it's a thing we do. We celebrate when things are going wrong. Okay, so I have a really good question if you're not frozen. And it's back to Gullicullies. And she says that he gets stuck, right? And he doesn't want to make mistakes. He does better if he's following his interest, which is exactly what you're suggesting is follow interest. But then what do you do if they're not like when they want to follow their interest, they end up just going on all of these, like they have an idea and they're like, oh, I want to do cars or I want to study paleontology or whatever it is. But then they won't fit in anything else. They'll only do the thing they're interested in.
I think that's okay. Because I can't think of a single topic that is going to be limited to just learning one thing. And if they're deep diving into something, they're going to learn so much and it's going to benefit them. I like to look at their journey as this lifelong learning journey. And if they don't pick up one thing now, they can pick it up later. There's always, always, always gaps in education, and it's going to happen no matter where they learn.
I love that. Yeah. So you're saying like there's this lifelong journey. So we got this like 0 to like 100. And I think we looked it up. She was like 130, the oldest lady or something like that. So we're going to go with 130 here. Right. And so, yeah, you're right. Like I was talking with my good friend Seth Perler and yesterday, and he was talking about how like he dropped out of high school and he failed out of college. And now he is like a brilliant expert in the executive functioning field. And you hear all these stories of people who, who didn't do well in school or who dropped out of school. And it's just because that box education didn't work for them. And so I think so often we look at what we know. And I think Gulliculli said it best this morning. We were talking about something and she said, we make assumptions about the future. So maybe we're here on our timeline and we make all these assumptions about the future based on our past. And our past has this very boxed in view of the world. And we don't know what else is possible because there could be so many other options. Like, can you just tell me some out of the box options that you have found when you're homeschooling that most people don't even know exist?
I'm going to use myself as an example because when I was a sophomore in high school, I decided I was done. I didn't want to do anymore. I didn't want to go to school. And my parents kind of said, no, that's not okay. So I found ways myself that I could finish high school that didn't involve being in school, but they also couldn't homeschool me at the time. So I did correspondence courses, which was they mail you stuff and you do it all and you send it back. I did courses on VHS tape, which was an interesting experience.
I don't even know if I know how to try a VHS anymore.
I don't think those are available anymore. I think they did away with them. I don't even
know if Kayleen knows what a VHS is.
Okay, we'll have to teach her.
Okay. All right.
I found some after school classes. There's so many options and I finished high school in 3 years instead of 4 because I was done. But I did finish high school, which my parents were happy.
Yeah. And what are some things that maybe your kids have done that when you talk to, and I know a lot of your friends are in school, but you've had these same talks with people on our team trying to figure out if they're going to homeschool or not. Were there some things that surprised them that you started mentioning and they're like, I didn't even know that existed. Like, thank you.
Yeah, there's all kinds of online classes. You can usually do it through your state if you want to, but there's also ones that you can buy yourself. There's OutSchool is a place where independent people can go and teach classes, and there are some amazing options there. You can learn like Hebrew online, which just sounds really cool to me. I don't know why. And then there's all kinds of books and studies and plans that you can buy that will lead you through programs for your kids. I am teaching a Pokemon class school co-op this year.
Oh, so cool.
I'm pretty excited because the kids are excited.
Yeah, this is a really good. We're really looking at this because my high schooler doesn't fit in a traditional school anyway. And so he goes to a therapeutic day school and then he goes to his high school. And when COVID happened, he was getting work from both places, from the high school, which was electronics and world history, and then from his therapeutic day school. And he got incompletes on everything at the therapeutic day school, and he got straight A's in the things that he had at the high school because he was super fascinated in the electricity part of it. And he was super fascinated because the teacher was always putting memes and GIFs in his slides for which my son is like addicted to memes and GIFs. And so like she just taught the kids through memes and GIFs, and she taught world history through them. And it was amazing. It was so fun watching him get so excited. But I think it's really proof that like, if you find the thing they're interested in and you think outside the box, like right now you're just basing it on the past. And I love the OutSchool. And you have a resource. You actually are running like a workshop for helping parents get started creating this out of the box homeschooling. And there's so many questions people have when they get started. What are some of the most common questions people ask you about homeschool?
Definitely the most common question is, what curriculum should I use? And I like to circle back to, don't start there. And the other questions are like, how do I know I can teach my kid? Like, why do I have the ability? And so we talk a lot about the myths behind homeschooling and like all of these beliefs they have that they're not capable, they're not ready, because you are. I promise anyone, you are ready to homeschool your child. You know your kid best.
I love that. You can be an expert. Like, you are an expert in your own child.
Absolutely.
I love that. Okay, so can you tell us about this workshop you have coming up? You have like a free workshop coming up. Is it like tomorrow?
It's tomorrow.
Oh
it's at, let's see, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. And we're going to be talking about those myths. We're also going to be talking about getting kids to buy into their education, that motivation piece. And we're going to talk about, planning your schedule, planning your curriculum, and, finding what works for your child, for you, and for your whole family.
Okay. And can you tell them where to do that?
Yes, we can put a link in. Do you have the link or do I?
I think I have the link. So let's say that. Can you, we have a special fun link. Can you tell me what, I think it's even copied right now. But it's a free workshop.
It's a free workshop.
We'll have Lemon Lime Adventures. Yeah, lemonlimeadventures.com. We can just put that right there. So lemonlimeadventures.com/homeschool-kickstart. So homeschool kickstart. And we'll put that in the notes as well when we send this back to them, right? So I'm going to put on here free training, and that is tomorrow. And this is it though, right? Like there's not replays on this training you're doing, right?
There will possibly be a replay. We'll do our best.
Okay. But there's not, like, you're not running it like all the time. Like, this is like, it's a live workshop.
It's a live workshop. We might run it again in 2 weeks, but I can't promise anything. So I would highly encourage people to sign up for this one.
Yes. Because I missed the last one. So I'm going to this one for sure. And you're going to talk about the myths. And you're going to talk about motivation. You're going to talk about planning, and you're going to find out what works for yourself, your family, and your child, which I love, because that's like kind of our whole goal behind Calm the Chaos. And I was really, really, really concerned, and I have already run it through the team and run everything by. And so if those of you that have done Calm the Chaos, it is a Calm the Chaos friendly homeschooling plan. So I highly, highly recommend it, and highly recommend Erin. I've watched what she's done with her kids. I have used her resources over on RoyalBaloo for 7-8 years now. They're amazing. So there's no better person to learn how to homeschool out of the box and trust yourself. Become that expert in your kid, because you already are, right? You already are an expert in your kid. So it looks like it is at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And again, the link is lemonlimeadventures.com/homeschool-kickstart. Now, Erin, one last thing. If you could speak from the heart, if you could just say one thing to the mamas that are out there, or the dads that are out there who are just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. Like I've got to work. My kid doesn't always listen to me. He doesn't want me to teach him. Like, I don't know if I'm made out for this. Like, what would you say to that mama right now?
I would say take a deep breath. You absolutely can do this. I know you can do this. I believe in you. You know your child best, and you have your entire lives to make sure that they're learning this material. So like, don't stress and believe in yourself.
I love that so much. That is a beautiful message. I absolutely love that. So for everyone who's here, head on over to that link, lemonlimeadventures.com/homeschool-kickstart. Also put notes in the comments. Let us know if you're watching on replay, put #replay. And if you want notes, write notes in the comments. And we will be sending over, actually it will be Erin, because this is what she does for us. She's like our magic wizard in the background of our company. And so we're going to be sending over the 2 pages of notes. And I now have a new fancy camera that'll let us do PDFs so you can actually print them out. So we'll be sending that over to you guys. And then Erin, you'll send them the link as well so they can sign up for your workshop, correct?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. And I see so many people saying thank you and notes. Guys, can you please give some love to Miss Erin here? This is Erin, how many, put that up. How many lives have you done? Facebook lives have you done?
In my life, like 7, and I think 6 of them were in the past week.
There you go. Look at that. Like it's so amazing watching you just like blossom and like just lean into this spark, because you have so much to offer the world right now, and the world needs you. So guys, if you need Erin right now, can you just put in the comments? This is something I love to do, send love to our speakers. Just write, I need Erin. Can you do that for me in the comments? Can you just write, I need Erin, or we need Erin, or my kids need Erin? Just exactly like that in the comments. I see Galikali saying we love Erin. Brandy is so excited. Alana is as well. Yes, Gail, you are so welcome. She says, thank you. This is amazing. Yeah, you have really you've eased. I could feel my whole body just easing during the entire talk of like, okay, I do have this. I know what I'm doing. Okay, I think I can do this. And with Erin's help, I know I can do this. So I will be at that workshop tomorrow, as long as I don't already have something on the calendar. But I am going to go sign up for it right now, make sure that I can get there and watch it, because I want to hear about your homeschool plan, because I love that your homeschool plan is our homeschool plan. So all of you guys that are here, if you're thinking, yeah, she doesn't know my kid, I just want you to just take that deep breath. Like Erin said, I want you to remember that you are not alone. There is an army of people just waiting to support you. All you got to do is reach out to say, woohoo, yoo-hoo, I need some help. I'm kind of drowning here. And we totally get you. We understand. And you've got everything you need to go forth and conquer your day. Bye, guys.